Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I've got some bad news. I mean, you read from the title, Dune is now officially delayed. Not a small delay either, late next year. This is really not good for many reasons. This is an exclusive by Collider. Yeah, it sucks. Like, I'm not even going to try and hide my sort of disdain for this news. So I'll get to the news and then I'll tell you exactly why I think it's really bad news outside of just the clear, plain obvious. So their article opens with, it seems the spice won't flow until next year, as Warner Brothers and Legendary are moving Denis Villeneuve's Dune off of its December release date and will unveil the epic sci-fi movie on October 1st, 2021, Collider has exclusively learned. The big-budget adaptation of Frank Herbert's iconic novel boasts an all-star ensemble including Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, Stellan Skarsgård, and Oscar winner Javier Bardem. Now, the article continues on and says Dune had been slated to open on December 18th, but Warner Brothers recently moved Wonder Woman 1984 to Christmas Day, which they basically competed with themselves. For God's sake. So the article says, which seems to complicate matters. And at the time, a source told Collider that Warner Brothers was confident that the marketplace could support multiple tentpoles, as it has every year around the holidays. But with no vaccine in sight, Americans have remained reluctant to return to theatres, even though no new COVID-19 cases have been traced back to cinemas. And it continues. So obviously MGM has recently, they've moved No Time to Die, so that happens as well. That has repercussions. And I did a video earlier because that actually caused Cineworld and Regal Cinemas to basically shut down shop. That's it, they're done now for a while. They're closed, they're not opening back up until further notice. And basically, this has caused a lot of things to change and ebb and flow. Now, the article continues and says that the Dune delay has nothing to do with the movie itself. Obviously, that's what they're, I doubt it has anything to do with the movie. They've already changed some bits, so I doubt they're changing anything else. And Villeneuve is said to have been supportive of the decision, having made it for the big screen, which is where Warner Brothers and Legendary felt it should premiere, which I agree it definitely should. Now, Legendary and Warner Brothers, none of them can afford, to lose money on Dune, which I think they probably will anyway, and that's not a slight on the quality of the film. I think the quality of the film is going to be absolutely amazing. But financially, they're looking to gain as much money as possible. But the problem is that the huge problem with this and how it's really going to affect everything is, like I reported earlier, Regal Cinemas, one of America's, I think it's one of America's biggest chains anyway, and Cineworld, which is the biggest chain in the UK anyway, they're shutting down. Now, it's not permanent, but it's literally until further notice. And if nothing is going to be opening back up because no one is releasing movies, these chains cannot sustain themselves indefinitely. They're a business. If they don't have money coming in, they still have expenses. They're still going to have people to pay. They're still going to have rent and rates to pay for, which are going to be astronomically high. Because if you've ever been down one of your local theatres, which obviously you have, you're here on the channel, you love movies, right? You ever been down one of your local theatres? Good God. It's like a mini mall at the moment. So the rent and rates on these properties are going to be absolutely astronomical. Now, both things feed into one another. It's a symbiotic relationship. You've got blockbusters being released to then feature in a theatre chain, right? Now, if the theatre chains don't have any blockbusters to release, they close up shop. But when they're closed up, if they close permanently, or they don't open up in time, or whatever, then the studio's never going to have enough eyes and optics and bums on seats because the theatre chains are closed. You know, AMC theatres in the US is looking like they're going to go bust. You know, and the same can be said for the ones over here as a result of all of this crap. Now, I've been to the theatre during all of this pandemic, and I'm not going to say, oh, you should definitely go. But personally, it's never been safer. It's never been cleaner. You know, you don't have to sit next to anyone because they mark out 3 or 4 or 5 spaces. So there's 2 spaces blocked out either side of you, and there's 2 spaces behind you plus in front of you. When I went to watch Tenet in theatres, it was one of the nicest movie-going experiences I've had in a really long time. I had my popcorn, had all my treats, I sat there. I was loving life. It was so good. So personally, like I was happy to get straight out to the theatre, and I get why people don't want to. I understand it, but this is real bad news. And again, and I said in the video earlier, is that, you know, Dune has a lot of hype surrounding it at the moment. It's got 25 million views, I think, if I remember rightly, on that trailer. That's huge. That's massive for something that you know. It's not something that you'd think would get those level of views, but it has. Again, I'm going to double check, but I'm fairly certain it has. You know, 26 million views it's got in 3 weeks. That goes to show people are hungry. People want to watch these things. You know, people really, really want to watch Dune. There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of hype for this. But sadly, they're delaying it, and I understand why. But I do think that we're going to slowly start to see the death of the Hollywood industry, or at the very least, a downsize. Right? You are absolutely going to be getting movies with less budgets. You're going to be getting blockbusters, more risk, well, less risk. Everything's going to be checks and balanced, all sorted. It's just a shame. It's a massive shame. And I wonder as well whether the hype for Dune is actually going to flow away, because of course, you know, it doesn't maintain indefinitely. That's why you have marketing windows. So I wonder how much this is actually going to cost Warner Brothers. You know, they were very brave to release Tenet, and it's raked in over 300 million worldwide. That's pretty good going, to be fair, in all things considered right now. Like, I get that they may want more, and, you know, it's not good in terms of how much they spent on it and things, but as things go, that's pretty good, and that's with half the US not open. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Are you as disappointed as me? I'm not going to try and hide it. I am really, really annoyed about this, but let me know your thoughts down below. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Mr. H. Take care.